Hi, I'm just going to run through Pointless AI's OCA Offensive Cybersecurity Assistant. This is a tool which is used to call the ChatGPT API. The tool is used within the terminal, and it has a good memory, so it remembers your ChatGPT commands, so it can build up history. This tool has applications in Linux system administration, but also in the context of this tool, it's used for offensive cybersecurity, ethical hacking, and red teaming. So I've got a screenshot here which I think is useful in showing. So my internet is slow. All right, so running the script main.py. So welcome to the OCA Offensive Cybersecurity Assistant. So typing in G, you get the General Assistant. So this is just the standard ChatGPT Assistant. It's a lot of your ethical hacking commands. It's not going to let you do them because it's just a simple prompt. I'm an assistant, but I thought I'd put it in there because sometimes it's useful. You're doing your ethical hacking workflow. And sometimes you just need an assistant to answer some general questions. So you can start off with that. So the general assistant in this, I say, what is brute forcing? And ChatGPT tells me about brute forcing. It might also say, I can't tell you about it. It's legal. Next up after that, I want to learn more about brute forcing. So I enter C for consultants. This brings up a red team consultant. I provide detailed cybersecurity consultation. So I asked this consultant brute force this URL, and the consultant tells me all about a lot of the information about it, some methodology, offensive, defensive, and some information, as well as providing the raw shell command and some expertise. So finally, after that, I'm ready to enter my commands after learning all about it. So the next step is to retrieve a terminal command and execute that. So I do that with the T flag. So I type in T into the prompt, brings up the terminal system, and I then say, okay, I now want to brute force this URL, and then it gives me the command and the option to execute. So that's a general workflow. Let's jump in and execute this. Okay, so the first thing to do is clone, grab the URL. We're going to clone this in Linux. Okay, so I'm in my Kali instance here. You can see I've already downloaded it, but you just want to get clone the URL and then cd inside it. All right, now I like to run everything in Python virtual environments to separate. Just because Python has lots of differences between different environments, and it's good to separate out the execution there. So I have a Python virtual environment here, which I've named ETHGPT-env. So into that. Myself, I've got wrong spelling. ETH source. Oh, because I'm in the directory already. Okay, so I need to go back one. Okay, so now in my Python virtual environment. If you're not sure how to set this up, I think it's Python Python-m venv. So that will set up your virtual environment called ETHGPT-env, and then you can access it through that source command. Okay, so now I'm in here as well. I'm also going to import my API key, which I've created for this tutorial. So I'm going to export that. Okay, so I'm now ready to go. I'm in the directory. I've exported my OpenAI API key. I'm inside a Python virtual environment, so I'm ready to go. So Python main.py. This is going to bring up the Terminal Assistant. Alright, welcome to OCA Offensive Cybersecurity Assistant. Type type T for Terminal Assistant. So this is what we just saw, right? So I'm already in the Terminal Assistant. So if I type G, here's the General Assistant. C, the Red Team Consultant. T is the Terminal Assistant. Okay, so let's start off with the General Assistant then. How to brute force. Let's give this a couple of seconds. I'll pause it if need be. Okay, gonna pause it. Alright, so I've asked the General Assistant how to brute force, and it said, I understand you might be looking for information on this. It's important to approach this with ethics, ethical consideration. I don't know what my charger is. Silence. Okay, so it's important to approach this with ethical consideration. Do not use unauthorized access, etc. Typical things that ChatGPT says. But then it's also coming up with some information about understanding brute force attacks, preventing brute force attacks, ethical, legal, and defence. So there's some good information there to learn about brute forcing. So next up, after that, after I've learned about this subject, I'll type in C. It's going to bring up my Red Team Consultant. So I'm going to say how to brute force, and hopefully the Red Team Consultant is going to come back with some more useful information. Okay, so I've typed C for consultant, Red Team Consultant selected, said how to brute force. So give me a short answer first, then some reasoning, then some sources like the OWASP website, some information on how to use it offensively, defensively, some secret insights, an alternative view. Here's a raw shell command on how it thinks you can do it, and suggestion for improvements on this command. Okay, so now I've learned quite a lot about brute forcing. I'm now going to switch to the Terminal Assistant, and I can see there's a raw shell command here, so I could try running this raw shell command, but I could also but I need to do some recon first. So I can say what is my subnet? Okay, so I can see my subnet here. I can then say scan hosts on 10.02.0.24. So scan hosts on this network, on this subnet. Alright, so I found several hosts here. I know what host I'm looking at here just from because I've done this. So I'll just jump straight to it. Normally I might run through all of these and look for open ports, so I'm just going to scan open ports on 10.0.2.15. Alright, so there's an open port AT on that host. So scan for vulnerabilities on port 80. This host. Let's just see this host. Let's just see if that works. Yeah, so it's actually scanning port 80 of that host, so that's where the memory comes in. So instead of saying type in the host every time, I'm just saying this host, and it actually remembers the host. Let me just pause that a second. Okay, so it's come back with this with the vulnerabilities on this open port. So what it's actually done, it's found this command mmap, the vulnerability script on port 80 on this. So by typing in show me vulnerabilities in this port, it's come up with this command and then executed it. So one interesting thing that I can see here is a login page. So let's use our brute forcing that we just learned about. Let's put that into practice. So I'm going to say brute force login.php. Let's just see if this works without specifying the host. Yeah, all right. So it's remembered the host. So it said it's come up with this command. It's picked out the rockU.txt word list, which is in Kali, and it suggested the admin username. So I'm going to type E to execute this. And it's now brute forced the application and found the admin username and password. So I've now gained access. I'm now able to gain access to the application using the admin login. All right, so that's a brief run through. Let's just go through any troubleshooting on the code. All right, so if I open up main.py. Alright, so you can see here that it brings in a module get environment meta. So what this is doing is getting your environment. So for example, your operating system and your terminal shell. So that's bringing that data from there. You can have a look at that file if you need to change anything in there. Get cleaning functions. It's not implemented yet. It's basically to sanitize the text. But yeah, I haven't really done much work on that. I'll probably get back to it and do more on it later date. But I mean, you're not really going to attack yourself, so it's not an immediate priority. All right. What you've got here is an error prompt. So if you run a command and a terminal command and it brings back an error, it will attempt to fix it. If not, it'll give you another opportunity to ask ChatGPT for assistance with that. Yeah, there's a lot of logic here for executing the shell commands. For example, if a command requires you to install something, it will attempt to run it with sudo, and it will also ask you for permission to do that. So if a command looks a bit risky, then it's got some safeguards in there. Yeah, so if you have any problems with this, then you can email me actually at contact@pointlessai.com, and I will be happy to help and also to hear about any bugs. It's a work in progress. It's only version 1.1. I'm not going to do any work on it for a while, so yeah, feel free to play around with it and let me know if you find anything that you need assistance with. Just one thing in the settings. Okay, so this is using this model, this preview model, GPT-4. If you have any problems, then changing that is probably gonna help you. Yeah, okay. So I guess that's it. Thanks for your time.